Welcome everyone, and this is Priyal Bhatia. I'm the Chief Community Officer for DPO Club. DPO Club has started a new journey wherein we are hosting DPO Speaks session. Here we just want to, every week or every month we're going to come with new topics and we're going to see that what DPO in the industry feels about it. So today, for the first session of DPO Speaks, we have someone who is an experienced professional and a very seasoned leader, Paramjeet Kaur. So welcome, Paramjeet ma'am.
Thank you, Priya.
Paramjeet here is a DPO for Coforge, and she has over 25 years of experience in compliance, privacy, and enterprise solution. And throughout her career, she has driven strategic initiatives across data protection, digital transformation, and client engagement for global enterprises. So we are very honored to have you here today. Our
Thank
first ever topic is going to be, the thoughts of DPO, because DPO, as an internal evangelist, cultivating a privacy-centric culture in a non-technical team. Because while we talk about DPO and how technical their role can get, but I'm sure that on a day-to-day, practice, you also reach out and connect with people who are not from a technical background. So my first question to you is that what are these unique challenges while you're communicating with the team who are not from a technical background, and how do you gain their buy-ins? Like how do you navigate through these challenges?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Priya. Thank you for introducing me with kind words. Um, okay, so coming to your question, yes, so there are typical challenges if we talk about that. Like first of all, coming on top of my mind is that technical legalistic language, all the language which we used in privacy laws and all data controller, data subject, fiduciary, processor. This is something like people get, this is the first level of barrier of understanding, I would say. People get overwhelmed while listening to
Right.
this language. So that is, sometimes shuts their mind. So that is definitely a typical challenge. And how we deal with it is, of course, we are using a very simplistic language so that they don't get overwhelmed by it. So in any training program, or in any any communication, or in any transaction, what I try to do is use a simplistic language so that they can understand. Any training material, any awareness material which we create is made from that intention that yes, it is a layman, from a layman perspective, the people can understand who are not from this privacy background, of course. So that is how we deal with it. That is the first challenge. And then there are abstract concepts in privacy. It's like sometimes people will come and they will ask, like, whether TPDPA allows the processing of Aadhaar card number or the email ID. So we have to tell them, it is not that prescriptive to that extent, right? These laws give us general guidelines and the principles. So you have to, enable them and inform them how it works, how to understand the concepts, and how do we implement, in their day-to-day operations. So you have to uh, work backwards, relate to their daily operations, and tell them in their language, in their operations, that how do we achieve this. The other I think that is the most fundamental challenge, which is the mindset, right? Mindset is, what I feel is, historically we are coming, if we talk about specifically for India, we are coming from a culture where there has always been focus on the community and the family, right? We prioritize collective needs and social harmony rather than individual privacy. So people don't have that mindset. They historically what has been there, you would have seen, like, whenever I have traveled in the past in the trains, I have seen the people, by the time their journey ends, the people would have given half of their biography to the
Right,
strangers.
right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that
Number,
is
reach out to me on WhatsApp. Next time you're in city, we can do something. Right.
yeah, so that is the culture from which we are coming from. But of course, it is changing with all the digitalization and all the impact of all that misuse which happens. So people are becoming aware, and But that is the fundamental, probably the challenge. And if we are able to tackle that mindset, I think that is a paradigm shift. Once the person is aware, their privacy is important, the personal data is important, that changes the whole, mindset. So that is, uh, to change that mindset, so there are multiple things which we do. So any training program which we run is basically starts with, drawing a parallel to from organizational privacy to individual privacy, right? So it becomes more relatable for them, to make them understand like why privacy is important, and what they can do about it, what can be the, misuse, or what can be the harms to the, personal data, to their individual privacy. So once, they are able to relate at their own level, I think, and I also believe the way you do one thing, you do everything. So if you are, if you are aware, like whenever there is a handling of personal data, if you are aware that you will take a pause, you will make sure that you are processing it rightfully, that becomes your attitude. And whether it is your own data or any data, personal data, which you are handling in the organization. So that's where we start actually,
Right.
working on the mindset level.
I think that also pretty much covers how I wanted to ask that, what are the things or what kind of trainings is it that we are covering in your organization specific also, which helps people to understand importance of this even when they are not from technical background. And I think it really makes sense when we say that it's not about, because of course, once you read the law, you know about these things, just being aware of these terms are important, but how you're using them in your day-to-day life and trying to get a substitute at the internal level so that people are able to understand is very important, especially for someone who has just started their privacy career. So I think that
Right.
is a great thing that is happening in the industry now. To add on to this, so I just also want to know that how do you bridge this gap between the policy and day-to-day practice? And when you have to work with so much of diverse team, right? There's a technical team, there's a legal team, there's somebody who's looking into the infosec part of it. So how do you bridge the gap between policy and practice in your day-to-day operations with them?
Okay. Yeah, so one is definitely the simplification part, which when we are doing any communication, making it more simple. And the another key initiative, or that is actually foundation of our privacy program, is the privacy champions. So what we have done is we have identified privacy champions from each of the team, like whoever is handling the business personal data, whether it is a business team or our internal enabling functions. So, HR, recruitment team, training team, onboarding team, any teams which is handling the personal data. So we identify a privacy champion from that team, and we, extensively kind of train that privacy champion. So they are well versed with all the privacy concepts, all the fundamentals. So they are, they are kind of, then they become our eyes and ears,
Right.
right? So they know. So at the ground level, they know all their processes functionally. They know what all personal data is being handled and how it is being processed. So they are aware of all those processes, and then we train them to, make them aware about the privacy, our practices and the guidelines. So, with that. Empowerment, the privacy champions, they help us, ensuring that at a grassroots level we are ensuring all the, regulatory requirements, any, our practices, whatever we have defined as part of our privacy program. So they are ensuring they are rightfully, implemented. If there is any change happening anywhere, so they can, engage with us, and, sorting out any whatever decision has to be taken. So that is one initiative which is really works well. It really works beautifully. Um, yeah, so I think these are the two major this things: simplification, simplified communication, then working through privacy champions. But then, of course, we have our regular, mechanisms also to measure the effectiveness. How are we doing? How well we are doing with all these policies and practices? So those are, of course, in place.
So just to throw a light, what kind
Hmm.
of measures are we talking about when we talk
Okay.
about the effect? How do you measure the effectiveness of these
Yeah.
programs?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say there are formal mechanisms and then there are informal mechanisms also. So if we talk about formal mechanisms, we have our well-defined measurement program where we have identified metrics related to incidents, issues, repeated issues, repeated incidents. So all those metrics are defined and we do measure them on a regular basis. So which gives us an idea how well we are, operating and how, in terms of, the right safeguards and right practices, how effective they are. And we do have internal audit programs which are also regular, so we identify any issues and all. So that these are like our formal mechanisms. But then informally, if you talk about, you need to get a sense how it is happening in the organization. So sometimes what happens is, even if it is an internal communication, then people become aware that even if the mail, someone sent a mail with some personal data, but the participants which were marked in that mail, they were not all the intended participant recipients, right? So
Discipline,
they
right?
do, they will immediately highlight to me, see, this guy has sent a mail which was not supposed to send, please pull him up. So these are like my, informal mechanism that I know that
Right.
yes, there are more people who are aware and who will help us ensure that we are on the right track. Then apart from this, in a similar way, we have all those privacy champions, and I know if I'm getting engaged, for any small change in the processing, whether it is a small change or whether it is a big change, people are coming to me, engaging me with me, before making that change, or before starting anything new, they are engaging me. So I know the more consultation I'm getting involved in, so that kind of solidifies my understanding that yes, we are doing right, people are becoming alert and aware. So they might themselves may not be so equipped or well equipped, or to take the decisions, but then they know who to reach out and how to consult them, so that right decisions are taken.
Now, I also think it's also the trust that they have in their DPOs. So I think that is also very essential here.
Yeah, true.
To just add on to it, I would maybe ask you one more question that as a DPO, what strategies do you all empower, when it comes to employees in the, first line of defense and protecting the personal data? Because I'm sure
Mhm.
while there are some, there are going to be some strategies which are very organization specific, but is there
Mhm.
also something as a general overview that DPOs have to strategize and take care while they are trying to train their employees and ask them to protect the personal data?
Hmm. If we talk about strategies, one is, of course, creating that culture. We talked about
Right.
that mindset issue. So that is, fostering or creating a culture, privacy aware culture across the organization. That is very, very important. So there are multiple ways through which we work on that. So one is of course all the trainings and awareness programs. So in every year, at least during the data privacy month, so data privacy day, which we celebrate in January. So in that month specifically, it is like we will nudge them from all the channels. Wherever they will go, they will find something related to privacy. Whether they are online, they will have a screen, their desktop wallpaper is there. They are entering into the office, there are posters. They are going into the cafeteria, so there are, in the TVs, they can see the privacy
Right.
related communication. So that 1 month, to definitely we just bombard them with
I
everywhere
think it
so that
just
nobody
naturally
can
gets
escape that.
inculcated.
Yeah. So
Right.
nobody, it's the like constant nudge they need, right? So that they don't become laid back. Yes, privacy is important. They need to keep themselves aware. So that constant nudge, I think, is definitely required. So that 1 month we do very extensively, but then during the whole year we keep them engaged. We have like monthly newsletter we run, So wherein we pick up a topic and in a very simplistic way we make them aware about like what is it about. But then we also run a monthly quiz based upon that newsletter. So that is a reward based quiz.
Right.
So that gives a more boost or more excitement to the employees. So they want to, definitely their names will be published as winners. So that makes it little more exciting. And before participating in the quiz they have to make sure that they read the newspaper, otherwise they will not be able to answer the question. So that is this working on the culture from every way possible which we do. Then of course other is the stakeholder buy-in, the senior stakeholder buy-in. Without that, I mean, that won't be possible. uh, so that is a must. So we have a regular connect with our senior stakeholders, senior leaders. So where we discuss issues, risks, any changes which are happening in the laws. All those discussions happen, and the proactive any proactive decisions are to be taken, any support required, in implementing any policy. So that is a must. So that is a very regular connect which we maintain with the senior stakeholders. And yeah, that's I think coming on top of my mind.
Well, I think, ma'am, it all does make sense because it starts
Mm,
small, but once I think the entire organization is dedicated,
mm.
there is absolutely no way to stop them. And it starts with, very basic training and every employee that is able to make a difference here. So I think thank you so much for, showing light that what are the challenges when you are dealing with a non-technical team and how do you actually work through that? How do you navigate through these challenges? I'm sure anybody who's in a similar role and has a day-to-day thing like this, it will be very beneficial for them. So thank you so much for, joining us today and showing this way to us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank you so
having me.
much, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.